Hello everyone, my name is Sheila and today we're gonna read the Magic Giraffe Merlin mission, 8 Blizzard of the Blue Moon, and start reading a chapter for hard times and the end of reading a chapter 5, okay? And now, are you ready for this one book with a lot of stories? And now here we go! And first you can read the Magic Giraffe Merlin missions, A Blizzard of the Blue Moon, Chapter 4, Hard Times. The wind lashed the bare trees and swept the snow into the tall drifts. That way, said Annie. She led the way down the castle steps of the path. Mr. Perkins are a nice guy, said Annie as they handed toward the west side of the park. Yeah, said Jack. Someday I'd like to go back there to see all the weather instruments. Jack and Annie trudged through the storm until they blew the buildings just behind the trees. We are almost out of the Central Park, said Annie. Jack looked around. Do you see Teddy and Kathleen? He said. No, but we better keep going if we want to get to the zoo today, said Annie, and Jack agreed. Mr. Perkins had said that the blizzard was going to turn into the monster after dark. The dark came early in November. They left the park, came to the White City Street, and all the sorts of things are blowing about the wind. Newspapers, hats, umbrellas turned upside down. Jack and Annie grabbed the lamppost to clung into a trying to keep from that getting blown away too. When there's a loo up the stone, they have trudged across the avenue. It was Jack and Annie started. It was the line of the cars half burned into the snow. Jack and Annie started down the side to the street that passed the old man and a woman hiding into the doorway, wrapped the dorm blankets, burning a fire in the small stove that passed the line of the man dressed in the ragged clothes standing outside the building, a sign of the free soup. Jack hoped everyone outside and find a better shelter before the monster blizzard hit. Oh, yes. Excuse me, Annie called to the man in the 3-line of soup. Do you know where is the west side of the IRT subway is? 2 blocks, said the man. Keep going. Thanks, said Annie. Jack and Annie keep going. They passed the firehouse, the cheese store, and the newsstand. Everything was closed and shuttered. The peddlers' cars and trucks stuck into the drifts. Sign was the wind. One says meatballs and beans, 10 cents. Another says Jutter's Bakery, 5 cents of a loaf. A third said logging $2 of a week. Jack and Annie across the street. They saw the newsboys under a thunder with an ending. The boys have wrapped their feet into the legs in their new papers to keep warm. Excuse me, where's the subway? Jack shouted. And up the block around the corner. Green ball, said the boy. Green ball, wondered Jack. What does that mean? Thanks, said Annie. You guys should go home. After dark, the storm is turning into the monster. Jack and Annie trudged on. When they turned into the corner, Jack shouted, Look, a green ball atop of the post under the large green ball. The post is next to the stairway that led under the ground. The sign says, Uptown IRT trains 1, 2, 3. That's it, Mr. Perkins said. We can take the number 2, said Annie. Wait, do you see Teddy and Kathleen? said Jack, peering through the snow. Annie looked with him down the city street. I don't see him, but I'm sure they will find us, said Annie. She and Jack started down the stairs that led underground. The staircase was filled with people trying to get out of the small storm, and Jack and Annie walked to the crowded subway station, a long line away from the front of the turnstile. A sign of the turnstile says Subway 5 cents. Oops, do you have any money for the subway? Annie asked Jack. Yeah, I think I left home with the least $1 in the change, said Jack. He reached out to his pocket and pulled out 2 nickels. Cool, said Annie. She led the way to the line. As they waited, Jack looked out around the station. A banjo player played a silly tune, but no one smiled. A man and Riggs walked around holding a hat, beginning to money, and Jack took another nickel from the pocket and dropped it into the hat. Thank you, bless you, said the beggar. And sure, said Jack. As the beggar walked on, Jack looked at Annie. Boys, just a little nickel make him so happy, he said. I don't know, everyone seems really poor this parents here, said Annie. I wonder why, said Jack. Why, as the line had moved very slowly through the turnstile, he pulled out of their research book and pulled out from the introduction. In the 1930s, New York City, as well as the rest of the United States, suffered through the hard times known as the Great Depression. Jobs were scarce and many people had no money or homes. Oh, that's what Mr. Perkins was talking about, said Jack. Hard times. I wish we could help everyone, said Annie. Me too, said Jack. But right now our mission is to save Uncord under a spell, said Annie. Jack frowned. Our mission sounds like a fairy tale and make-believe in the world, he said. No real great inspirations. I know, said Annie. Hey, it's almost our turn. What do we do? Let's watch a person in front of us, said Jack. Jack and Annie watched an old woman putting her knuckles in the sort of the turnstile which had turned to the train platform. The woman had pushed out and joined the crowd of the people waiting for the train, and Jack and Annie put their nickels into the slot and pushed it through too. The platform was very cold, and people looked at worry, but at that fear, subway to the train might never come. Jack felt worried too, but mainly because their mission wasn't making any sense. They're trying to get soup before the blue moon and before a monster blizzard hits the city. When they got to the zoo, what then? Oh, this is what I don't understand, Jack said to Annie. The poem says unicorn in the public display, but that's true. Why haven't we ever read about the New York City instead of having unicorn in the zoo? That will be major news. Yes, but remember the poem says he's hiding well, and he's under a spell, said Annie. So maybe the spell makes him look like the regular animal. But when we get to the zoo and say his name, he will come out of the hiding and review the new nature, said said Jack. Actually, said Annie. Okay, said Jack, but how do we know what the kind of animal look for? A single bell changed, clanged, and the light appeared to the end of the tunnel. Jack and Annie moved through the crowd as the shore of the ford. The subway train had rumbled down the tracks, and the train saw a big number 2. That's us, he said. Oh, now Jack and Annie need to hop onto the number 2 train so they can go to a zoo and look at the blue moon again. And then the train had stopped. Everyone in the platform crammed inside. Jack and Annie were squished into the first cars. All of the seat was taken, so they have to stand into the aisle. There is a super poor and the more riders had squeezed away to the subway car, had grabbed the steps of the hanging overhead. Jack actually did not mind that squeeze. That's not ancient to draw out of the cord. Jack, Jack, cried Annie. She pointed out to the window of a subway car. Jack peered out of the window. Just as came to the 2 people rushed across the platform to one of the rail cars. One is half dressed into the dark cape in the tan raincoat. A bellhop sounded. The subway doors have closed and the train started down the tracks. Yay, they're on train, exclaimed Nanny. Cool, said Jack, grinning. We will see him when we get off. Hey, where do we get off? Said Annie. Oh, man, we forgot to ask, said Jack. He turned to a lady next to him. Excuse me, where do we get off the Rosemont Zoo? He asked her. Homer Avenue. The woman said gruffly. Where's that? Said Annie. There is a map, said a woman. She pointed to the map above the wall. Row of the seat passengers. Jack and Annie stared at the colorful lines obscured by the subway system. Nothing here makes sense, said Jack. Do you need help? The girl sitting in the map says. She wore a tailored purple shirt over to the head and the shoulders. Yes, please, said Annie. Can you tell us where is the zoo of the Brosnick Zoo? That's much not farther in the north, said girl. I will let you know when the lights shop. Thanks, said Jack. The train had bumped into the crack along, and the stops every couple of the minutes. Jack had looked out of the window and tried to read the name of each station, but sometimes into the platforms they are in too crowded. They have a glad into the girl of the share and promised to help them. But then Jack and Annie were starting to feel warm. Just then Jack was starting to feel warm and a little drowsy. A girl called out, your stop's next. Thanks a lot, said Annie. She and Jack have squeezed through the crowd to the doors, and the train had stopped by the doors open. Jack and Annie are protectively pushed into the platform to another people leaving the subway doors and to the closed train move on. Now it's chapter 5, the closed doors, and tomorrow we start reading a chapter 5 and Deanna reading a chapter 6 or 7, okay? Now, did you have fun? Eula's English Country comment with some Facebook, but not this story because it might be a new chapter to read. Okay, and now bye-bye everybody, and please thumbs up my YouTube if you like my YouTube too. Now bye-bye everybody, have a nice day. Bye!